Hey, welcome everyone to this week's edition of the Power Play podcast brought to you by Power Play Sports. I'm Michael Ledoux.
I'm the Dan Dallin.
I'm Cameron Dallin.
Hey, welcome everyone. I'm going to turn it over right off the bat, right off the get-go. I'm going to turn it over to my partner, the Dan Dallin, to introduce our first guest who's here nice and early. So on to you, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks a lot, Mike. With us tonight is Ben DeLuca. Ben is the head coach for the Cicero Chill 16U, I believe, AA team.
Correct.
Is their official league designation. I've watched them play. I've live streamed videos for them for a couple of tournaments now. Always a lot of fun. I like it when I can do multiples for one team, because then I can really get to know the team and start to recognize the players even by how they walk out of the rink later on. So it's always interesting to watch that. But Ben, thank you for joining us here this evening. Wondering if you could start off by just telling us a little bit about your history with hockey.
Yeah, I'm Ben DeLuca. Like you said, the coach of the Chill. And so my history of hockey goes way back to the early 80s. I started playing youth hockey in Potsdam, New York. Played pretty much all my youth hockey there. And I played some hockey over in Cornwall, Ontario area. Then I played high school hockey for Salmon River Central School up in Fort Covington, New York.
Now, were you on one of those Salmon River teams where they won states?
Yes.
Excellent. What year was that?
98, I believe, 90, around there.
Yes. They have a rink at the high school there now, don't they? Up there, is it at the school?
Yeah, the rink's right at the school.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah,
And that's pretty far up.
Yeah,
What's that?
No kidding.
I said that's pretty far up there.
Yeah, it's a ways up there. Yeah.
How long you been coaching, Ben?
Let's see, I started coaching back when I was in college in 99. I started coaching with the Rye Mariners program out in Westchester, doing some stuff with them. They're doing some private lessons over at New Rock City, which is in New Rochelle, New York, and did some stuff with Rye Rangers, and then a bunch of stuff with the Chelsea Piers. So I've been doing it for a while.
16U. Is Colin Whitmore? Does Colin Whitmore play for you?
Yes, he does.
Oh, he's a good. We had our first high school game the other day. Colin did pretty well. He had a good game.
Oh, good. Yeah, he's been working hard. He's doing well for us.
So is anybody else from Watertown? I was trying to think if this. I think Jaden maybe.
Big,
Yep.
Nate Ward,
Yep.
and Cameron Call. But I think he plays for Ontario Bay.
Cameron's playing for Ontario Bay. I have that hat over here. That's coming on in a few minutes. Yeah, when Steve gets on. Yeah.
Hey, Coach Nate. I was gonna go when I go through later. Nate we lost 5-1 the other night to we played Kaz, and it was a good game. But Nate scored our only goal on an assist from Owen Van Brockland, who you probably know because he plays down with Syracuse, I think, with the Valley team. Yep. So your guys represented it super well. I can tell you that.
Oh, that's good. Good to hear.
Yeah. So, Coach DeLuca, if you could tell us a little bit about that Chill program. So, what's it about? How long have you guys been playing out of Cicero?
All right. So the Chill, I started the Chill back up. Chill was around for a while, and it kind of went away, went dormant. And I've been coaching at Midstate for, I want to say, since 2010, been on the board there. And so then I created, with the board, we decided to create the Midstate Selects, because the tier 1 team's the only team that goes state bound, play friends. So we started the Selects, which was a non-tournament bound team, which would be like a tier 2 type team. Did that for a while. And then I got with Teresa Jackson, who is the president of the Chill, and kind of threw it out there and asked if she'd be willing to bring the Chill back, give the kids an opportunity to play for, for something, for like a state championship and stuff. So I think it's our 4th year of the Chill being back and in existence, and it's gone pretty well. The teams that I've coached has made to states every year, or qualify for states. The COVID year we didn't get to go, but so 4 years in a row we've qualified for states.
Excellent. And how have you done at states?
We've done well. The first year we went, every game was close. We won. We only ended up winning one game, but the team that won, we lost. That ended up winning the championship. We lost in double overtime too. So, or actually overtime. So yeah,
Wow.
We've done pretty well. Last year was not as well as we hoped, but no, it's been a good experience.
So what have been some of those biggest challenges that you've overcome as the head coach for the Chill?
The amount of people at tryouts. We have not had a large turnout for tryouts. So we've been able to overcome that and build our team based off of, I mean, when you've seen us play, we work hard. We have to outwork our opponents. We don't have the talent level that most of these other teams do around here. So our key is outworking everybody. And that's been the biggest challenge, I guess, is getting the numbers that we would like to show at the tryouts.
Now, are you talking specifically about 16U or across the board?
Pretty much for all of them, but this year the 12U had a great turnout. The 12U had a lot of kids turn out, so I'd like to see that. It means the younger kids are starting to progress up there and know what we're all about. So, and I think 16U this year, I think it wasn't just us. I mean, the 16U players were hard to come by in this area this year for some reason. And the 14U had a decent turnout, but not as well as we would have liked, you know. So we're hoping next year it grows and get more teams, more players.
Okay.
We've been Cameron, we've played them we've been super competitive with your 14U team, but one thing I think that hurts them is that they run out of numbers a little bit. They're at about 13 or 14. I think they had one, the pad node kid, I think he was out last week. So, you know, it seems like you need 15 or 16 kids to really get a good flow going and get enough breaks and really run as hard as you want for 3 periods.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. We played, go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, one of the biggest things, like I think you guys do the Unity hockey up there in the summer. You guys did last year. I think we played against you guys. And that's really been our biggest thing that I do the Syracuse Knights, and that's really where we've been able to help get more people to see who we are and come over and play for us and see what our coaching is like over here. So that's been a big asset for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's for us. I was the first year coach, and it was a little bit of growing pains early on with Unity, but as it kind of developed, we realized that we were probably about a single A program. The 12U did quite well, the 14U did well, and the 16U made it to a couple championships, but they lost. But it was about getting the numbers, and it's trying to grow the program. We're not trying to overdo it in the summertime either. You know what I mean? Like one practice a week and maybe 3 tournaments or something like that. And it seems to have helped a lot of the kids that played a little bit over the summer grow. So you kind of saw that growth. At least I did as a coach at the beginning of the season. Those kids seem to have a little leg up almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found too, just as a parent that I never played, I've never coached. I just really like talking about it. But with that introduction to Unity over the summer, that's when I started to just identify the other teams that were available, tier 1 and tier 2 teams. I only knew of like the Syracuse Nationals. That was it. And then all of a sudden I saw the Chill and I knew about them. And then, it just starts popping up. It like becomes the thing that you've got in your pantry. Like, oh my God, I've had these spices the whole darn time. I just didn't even notice it. So it helps to broaden that too. Hopefully that can help attract.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
It's getting out there. We play it. I mean, one thing that we do probably more than some of the other teams in the Syracuse area besides the Nats is we travel a lot. We play all over the place. Like next weekend, we're heading to New Jersey. You've seen us in Hershey. I mean, we do a lot of traveling. So, I mean, that helps get us out there as well.
Are you going to, is that the Morristown tournament?
It's the one in, I'm trying to think of it's not Morristown. Maybe it is. It's, I can't remember off the top of my head. Middletown, New Jersey.
Okay. Yeah. I remember seeing one of those, just a little further than I'm ready to travel right now. So
it's actually closer than Hershey.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's because I'm a Long Island boy. I'm just not fond of going to Jersey.
There you go.
So, go ahead, Mike.
I was just wondering how you kind of managed your season right now. I'm sure you have some kids that are going off to play high school, like Colin, for instance, or Jaden, and those guys are kind of even. Those guys are impact players on their high school team. Did you lose some kids from your 16U?
For the most part, we're going to be playing a lot of Sunday games throughout the rest of the season, and then looking at the schedule, what doesn't conflict. Fortunately, next weekend there's no conflicts with the kids from Watertown, but we will be short a couple defensemen on Friday night, and then they're going to come up on Saturday. So yeah, there's some conflicts that we'll have to overcome because of high school hockey.
Yeah.
Now, historically, it doesn't seem like you see a lot of these tournament-bound team players playing on the high school teams. I mean, is it
correct? It's something that we've decided here. You know, I'm also the vice president of Midstate Youth Hockey, and we've decided over here with the Chill and with Midstate that we're going to try to be more high school friendly and give these kids opportunities to play for their schools, because it's something that most of them seem to want to do, and we don't want to take that away from them. So we've been trying, you know, that's something in 2 years now, we've really tried to work with that.
And that's great. To me, I find that to be refreshing, because I fear a lot of times parents especially take their kid and figure out what they want to see them do well at, and then really focus on that one thing instead of allowing them to enjoy being a kid for a little while.
Exactly. And that's why we call it high school friendly. We don't shut down for the whole season. The kids still get practice, you know, 1 to 2 practices a week, you know, depending on how their high school. And if they have a high school game, they go to the high school game instead of practice. And we do our best to work around the game schedules.
That's going to wind up being it's going to be a more enticing alternative. I can tell you that, because kids don't like the shutdown as much either. They still like to see the kids that they play with on their club team, you know?
Yeah. And I also think it's kind of tough when you just stop playing in November and then you get together and you play for a week and you go play in the state tournament. I just don't know how that, you know, it can't work that well.
Right.
Exactly.
Not good for the team, and the boys like being able to play in front of their high school girls that may be friends as well.
Exactly.
So Ben, what else would you like to highlight about the Cicero Chill, the program, the team, yourself?
Well, I like to highlight the fact that we are, you know, like, I don't know if we call exactly a partner association with the Nats, but we work hand in hand with them. We have access to all the skating coaches, the goaltender coaches. I have a goaltender coach out there, Chris Izano, probably 70% of our practices. We have Ty Simmons comes out and does skills with us. Brendan Flanagan comes out and does skills with us. He also does the weight room with the kids. So we have all those things that are offered to our Nats Tier 1 players that we are able to offer to our Chill players, and it gives them a real good opportunity for development and being under controlled environment, learning how to lift weights and strength conditioning based on hockey player status. And the skill stuff that Ty Simmons does with edge work and everything is some of the best that I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Are you guys hosting any sort of like skills drills or whatever? We've got a couple of breaks coming up.
Yeah, they're doing some over Christmas break, and then they almost every like Martin Luther King Day, stuff like that. I don't think Martin Luther King Day will be one of them, but President's Day, because we have the Griffin's Guardians tournament here that weekend, which is a huge deal, and it's the cause is tremendous.
Yeah.
Yep. My son actually has a hat that he usually wears on the podcast from the Griffin's Guardian. It looks like a little Detroit Red Wings logo, kind of.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. That's cool. Coach, so you hail from Potsdam up that way originally, huh?
Yes, I do.
Did you go to school up that way, or?
Yes. Yeah, I did.
You know my buddy Rick Berkman up there. Do you know Rick?
Yeah, I know Rick real well. He's older than me. I know Rick. Yeah.
He's a good guy. Yeah. He's actually we have a big lacrosse tournament coming up as part of the Unity program over the Christmas break, and in the Potsdam lacrosse team donated some goods to it. So it's really nice of him. His son Ty has played with us too. Ty's a heck of a hockey player too, a good little hockey player.
Yes, he is. Yeah, I think he's playing for the Steel.
Yeah.
Excellent. And what's the best way for people to find out about these clinics that you've got going on, or when the next tryout session is for the Chill?
The best way would be go on to our Facebook page, which is under Cicero Chill. And we also have a CiceroChill.com. And then you can also go on to the Midstate Athletic Center website. And most of those clinics are all listed on there as well. Is
most of your stuff at the Twin Rinks there, Coach?
Yeah, that's all of our stuff there. Yep.
All your stuff there. Yeah.
Yeah, the Star Home rink.
Awesome.
And so I got to ask, the Olympic rink and the NHL rink, it's hard to tell looking at them. Are there dimensional differences between the two?
Yes, the NHL rink is 100 by 85 and our 200 by 85, and the Olympic rink is 200 by 100. So you get an extra 15 feet in width,
Gotcha.
which is a big deal for a team, built on speed and stuff like that. You have a huge advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't there one of the issues? There's an issue with one of the rinks right down there right now, isn't there?
We just got the NHL rink all redone. We took out all the ice and got that, and that rink's great. And then this spring or summer, I believe the plan is to take the Olympic rink out, melt the floor down, and build that back up as well. To it's been a long time since it's been done. They need to be done. The frost was heaving a little bit on the NHL rink, so that rink is in great shape now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So then the ever important follow-up question, any idea when that bar opens back up?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That question, I don't know off the top of my head. That's something that as soon as I know, I'll let you guys know to put it out there. I know that's the parents love that. They do.
Yeah, they missed that. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, in our concession stand.
I remember the first time I went there, I think my oldest was a peewee. We had a game against Cicero. And I was like, wait, there's a bar here. I'm like, God, I love this sport. It's you don't get that at soccer.
Yeah, you don't.
That's funny. Now, do you have any kids that play, Coach? Or?
I do. I have a son that's on my 16U team that I coach, and then my daughter plays on the 10U Nats girls team.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yep.
Excellent. You got to get more people playing hockey.
We do.
Absolutely. It's a good thing.
All right. Terrific. Anything else you'd like to share with us?
No, not really. I think, I appreciate you having me on. And like I said, we just, the program's growing and, the more people get out there. So I really appreciate that opportunity to kind of let people know what we're all about.
Mm-hmm. And,
absolutely.
Who's the next person that you think we ought to invite in to be a guest on our show?
I'd say Jamie Hoff.
Jamie Hoff? All right.
Yeah, he's our 12U coach. He also coaches one of the Nats teams, and he's the president of Midstate Youth Hockey. And he's been around hockey a long time and really knows the game.
Jamie Hoff. I'm trying to get Alex Tuck on. You got any connections there?
Jamie does.
I bet everybody knows Alex Tuck, and I just can't get him. And he's back home now. He's playing in Buffalo, and I want to get him on the podcast. I'm like, maybe we get some even more listeners.
Yeah, Jamie Hoff and Scott Montagna both have contacts with him.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. Well,
Sweet.
We'll reach out to you to get in touch with Jamie. That's your job, Dan. You're in charge of that one.
Yeah, Ben, if you could shoot me a text with Jamie's contact information, that'd be great. I
definitely will. And he'll be able to answer all the questions you have on the rink for you, possibly the bar.
Super. We'll start with that one.
All right.
All right.
Hey, Coach,
excellent.
good luck in your tournament. Good luck in your tournament in Morristown.
Oh, thank you so much.
Morrisville? Where the heck is it? It's in New Jersey, right?
It's in New Jersey.
Middletown.
Middletown.
Yeah.
Not Morristown. Awesome. Good luck with that, Coach.
Excellent.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll see you soon, Coach.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks for
Make it a
coming
great
on,
day.
Coach.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Bye.
Wow, that was great, man. A lot going on down there. I mean, we've seen the Chill a bunch of times at the 14U level, and I actually went down there to watch that tournament that you were in. That was, the one you broadcast. It was right. Well, I don't even think we've been on since then.
Oh, really? Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Huh. Wow, quite
possible.
possible.
We probably owe an explanation to all our fans out there that we got real busy over the Thanksgiving break, folks, and we didn't have a chance to record. But we had a lot of you folks calling out and asking for what was going on, and it was just really Thanksgiving caught up with us. So
yeah, I eat a lot of turkey, so I'm just coming out of my tryptophan coma very recently.
Right. Hey, Cam, what's going on with? Tell us a little bit about your indoor track experience this week. Cameron's running indoor track for the first time and had some success yesterday. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your meet?
Very nervous. Just the way there.
Really?
Yeah, extremely nervous because everyone's older than me. Because it's varsity. I'm running varsity. which is 9th grade and up. And I'm running with like 9th graders and up, and I'm still in 8th grade. So just the experience is different, and
because your cross country was all with junior high guys, right? Like when you ran cross country.
Yeah, that was modified 7th and 8th.
modified 7th and 8th.
Oh, it's like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, so now he just jumped right up into varsity, and this was at where was it, Cam? Do you remember where?
It was like, I can't remember what it's called. It wasn't like CNN, something like that.
Close. It's the SRC Arena on the
SRC.
Onondaga Community College campus, which is a large, beautiful facility shared with the YMCA in Syracuse. And that meet to start off the year was actually a larger than normal meet. Next Wednesday, the next meet will have about half as many schools at it. So this one had probably about 12 to 14 different schools. And that infield was jam-packed with little humans that were in high school.
Right. What races did you run, Cam?
I ran the 1600, and I did the long jump.
How did the 1600 go? Was that 1600 meters? How many laps is that?
That was 8 laps around. It was a 200 meter track.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And how'd you do in that one? How many kids ran in that overall total? Do you know? Or
I'm pretty sure it was.
they must have more than one heat,
I
right?
think it was 13 kids.
Wow.
No,
And
that
How'd
was
you do?
in that one heat, and I think my
Oh,
heat
wow.
was 13 kids.
Yeah, so his heat was 13 kids. He came in 5th out of those 13. Overall, I'm pulling it up right now. I had it. There were 31 racers that made it. 2 of them did not show up. So it would have been 33, but 31. Out of those 31, Cameron finished. Where would he go?
$1,600 meters.
Yep, 1,600
Yes.
meters.
It's almost
mile.
That's about a mile.
Yeah. Is that? Were you gassed? Did it kick your butt?
Not really. So because I'm used to cross country, which is 1.5.
Yep.
And so I ran more at that pace because that's like the first time I actually ran a mile in like indoor track. So I didn't know what to pace myself at. But now I know that in between and stuff, I can run a bit faster to be able to still finish in a really good time.
I'm sorry. I was looking up at actually there's a meet going on today, but yesterday's Wednesday, Cameron ran there were 44 people that ran, 44 boys that ran this 1600. Cameron came in 35th with a time of 5 minutes, 59.18 seconds.
Nice.
So the kid that came in first, 4 minutes, 30 seconds.
That kid's like,
Wow.
I was in the long jump line, and I saw that kid. He like sprinted like the entire thing.
Unbelievable.
Well,
that
He
you
lapped,
think you could run faster, right? Because like you had too much. You don't want to have that much gas left in the tank when you're done, right? You just want to just knock it all out.
kid.
Yeah.
It looked like Cameron finished playing a Snowbelt League Pee Wee game and was ready to play a whole nother game. Yeah, shouldn't be that way. It was very similar to the first year that Cameron did cross country. He wasn't sure of what his pace was. And so there with that environment, 200 meter track, very confusing trying to count down to the little guy with the little placard with how many laps he had left. He'll get it. He'll get it.
And how was the long jump?
It was good. So we had 3 attempts. I faulted the first one. My foot went just over the line to where my foot has to be.
Yep.
And then second one, I got 14, 2.5. And then third jump, I got 14 feet, 2.5 inches. Then I got 14 feet and 1 inch on the third.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, so that's good stuff. I just don't want you to burn out for hockey season because hockey's number one, baby. And the other thing I wanted to mention to you, Cameron, is if you can talk to these indoor track and field coordinators about the podcast and the fact that they really need to work around our schedule a little bit more
Mhm.
because we were supposed to record last night and they got in the way. So we need to tell the track and field people to step aside, and Power Play podcast takes priority.
That's
Got it.
right.
Yes.
That's important stuff. Hey, I did want to mention something about our opening music that you probably heard today. We have a new opening music feature, and I want to thank my brother-in-law, Stephen Rich, who actually is a hockey coach and hockey parent over in Amherst, Massachusetts. His son is currently playing high school hockey and just started, and his daughter, my niece, played high school hockey up until this year. And Steve talked to a good friend of his here in Watertown, Tony Soluri of School of Tone, schooloftone.com. And Tony put that little riff together, especially for the Power Play podcast. So that opening riff is going to be our new signature opening riff. And I really want to thank Tony in School of Tone. And I want to give him a little pitch. If you go to schooloftone.com, like I mentioned before, that's his school. They sell instruments. He does lessons. They're located at 25355-25355 New York Highway Route 3 in Watertown. And their phone number is 315-489-9644. Schooloftone.com. Tony Soluri. Thank you, Tony, for that cool riff at the beginning of the Power Play podcast. And thank you, Dan, for teaching me how to do that. I was having a hard time with that. Yeah, I was a little bit technically challenged.
Absolutely. I like covering all things with online production. So
yeah, absolutely. Want to talk about a couple of different things for our sponsor, Power Play Sports. As you know, Power Play Sports is the sponsor of the Power Play podcast, and a couple of big things coming up at Power Play Sports are the Battle of the Biscuit tournament, which maybe we should try to put a team in this thing. This is a 3v3 tournament being held by Power Play Sports over the Christmas break, December 27th to the 30th. Maybe you should try to put a couple teams in there. I'm going to try to coordinate that with some of my players. So here's the details. You pick a team, you register, or you can get a captain and register, or if you're a free agent, because you don't have a team to play with, you can register individually, and they'll assign you or combine you with some other kids to make a team. And to be able to play, it's $60 for Power Play Sports members or $100 for non-members. Each team can have 3 to 6 players. You're guaranteed 4 games. It's 20-minute periods. They have real ice. I think everybody knows that. Maybe I'm taking that for granted, but they actually have real ice where this thing's going to be played. It's not going to be played on the synthetic ice. And they're going to be using those pond hockey nets. Have you guys ever seen those before? Pond hockey nets? They're pretty like little like 2x4s that sit down on the ice, and you have to shoot. You can't like take wrist shots and stuff.
Yeah, so it's 2 little holes.
Yeah. Yeah, you really gotta be a sniper. So I don't know, Cam.
So Estelle, my 11-year-old, she saw that and she's like, but I can't lift the puck. I said, honey, remember, it's a pond hockey net. You don't want to lift the puck. You'll be golded.
Yeah, maybe we should get maybe Estelle and Jillian. Maybe we can put together a nice little girls team too for that. I'm sure that'd be fun.
Maybe I'll help
age groups.
Maybe
what's that?
Maybe it'll help teach me to keep the puck on the ice when I'm casting it.
Yes, that would be. Well, you know something though, Cam, I got to give you some credit. The last couple goals you've scored have been on the ice, 5 holes and stuff like that. So yeah, you're shooting pretty well.
I think that was some insight into where Cameron was actually aiming versus where the puck went.
Yeah, it doesn't always go where you aim, does it, Cameron? How'd you do in the shootout at practice tonight, by the way? Did you score any goals?
Yes, I scored the first one. I shot. I tried going 5-4 on Aiden because he laughed over him, but he dropped pretty quick. Then I went to grab it, but he let the toe of my stick and it pushed in. Aiden's dad, Coach Trey, thought I actually scored it, but no, I did double tapped. So I grabbed
double tap.
I grabbed it.
At least you're honest. I think Trey Ledoux might have taken that one and counted it. By the way, we're missing Trey Ledoux tonight. A little bit of a bellyache after practice. He sends his regrets that he can't be with us, and he did actually send me some notes. So back to Battle of the Biscuit. I just wanted to follow up. Age groups on that, 8U 10 and 12U combined, so it's a 10 and 12U division. There's a 14, 16, 18U division, so that might be competitive if we're in that. And then there's an 18 plus. I don't see anything for 50 plus, so it doesn't look like I can play. But powerplaysportsny.com, powerplaysportsny@gmail.com, and reach out to them if you're interested in the Battle of the Biscuit 3v3, a Christmas hockey tournament at Powerplay Sports. What do you think of that? What do we have? What else do we have up?
Right, and that's being played inside on the ice, inside Powerplay Sports, right?
Right. And that segues into a nice next thing, Dan, is the ODR, the outdoor rink, and that's in. And they just made it bigger, so it obviously the ice isn't in that. If you look outside, it's probably raining still right now. Glory Construction got a crew of people together this weekend. There was a lot of Coach Felder was over there. I know the Keegans were over there. Obviously, Coach Nethers was over there. The foreman for Glory Construction, who's Wyatt Nethers, who's he's the big boss. If you've ever seen Wyatt running around, they wound up getting all the boards in, everything leveled, and as soon as the weather permits, when it starts getting cold enough, they're going to have that outdoor rink up and running. So, and that's a huge thanks to Chris and his crew at Glory Construction and all the people that volunteered. Thanks a lot for doing that. And I also said I'd mention our buddy Liam Nethers, who is the older brother of Wyatt, younger brother of Carter, who plays hockey with Cam, who turned 8 last week on November 26th. Oh, to be 8 again.
Happy birthday, Liam.
Yes, happy birthday.
And that one of the things I also want to highlight that I was talking with Paul Trimper and Anthony Netto about is that new sticks and new supplies are going to be coming in soon, and that they actually just did a new order for a bunch of different stuff. They're going to have a bunch of new things in for Christmas. They have a bunch of Unity stuff, St. Lawrence Steel stuff, Watertown Wolves stuff. So, be great if you're looking for holiday presents, Christmas presents, to stop in. And they are now an official supplier of True Hockey, and they have the new True Hockey line of skates in stock over there, which is pretty cool. They've always pretty much carried solely CCM, but I tried on a pair of the True skates and super comfortable. So something to think about if you're over shopping at Powerplay Sports, all the great things that they have going on there. And they do have some nice new Unity swag coming in. So that's pretty cool as well.
I'll have to get up there and check out those True skates, because I've tried on Bowers and CCMs on my feet and they kill. I don't like the way they squeeze the ball on my foot. So
you have wide feet?
I don't know. I have feet that don't like being in hockey skates. That's all I know. So, yeah, I've always also borrowed skates or had used skates. I've never purchased a brand new pair of skates. So I don't know.
Yeah, they could be quite expensive. I can tell you that. What do you have for skates, Cam? What do you skate? You have Bowers or CCMs?
I'm pretty sure the Bauer. I can't see off the top of my head.
Huh.
I think it might be the Bauer Supremes, I think.
Okay. They're Bowers though, right?
Yeah.
They're not CCM.
They are Bowers. They are Bowers.
Yeah.
I like Bauer skates. But Powerplay is an official CCM vendor, so we have to talk a lot about CCM skates because that's
and True Hockey now. So I look forward to checking out those True Hockey skates. They are maybe my new brand.
Hey, Dan, we haven't been on in a while, and I know you did a bunch. We were talking with Ben. You did that. Was it a one hockey tournament down in Cicero? What was that all about? How was that?
Yeah, so One Hockey is run by Sebastian Fortier, and he does a great job of promoting those tournaments, has them all over North America. And here in Cicero, one of the cool things there is it's run locally by an ex-Buffalo Sabre.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Did I just forget his name? Jerry Sealing.
Okay.
Yeah, so he runs, so it's kind of cool hanging out with a Buffalo Sabre for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
We got to get him on our podcast.
Yeah. Oh, we could do that.
Yeah, that would be a good guy to have.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'll reach out to him. Sure. But just doing it there, and with that facility being right here, so close to home, makes it convenient. I'm familiar with it. I'm familiar with the people that are running the facility there, as well as a lot of the teams that are coming in and out. So, and it's funny. A lot of those teams that play will follow around the one hockey tournament circuit for a little bit. So there was a couple teams that were in the Hershey tournament that I saw this time at Cicero, but they weren't at the Cicero tournament before, and they were not at the other Pennsylvania tournament that I was at. So they pick and choose, so it's not always the same people there, but there is some strong possibility for me to run into familiar faces from out of town, which is just the nature of hockey as well. So,
right. Do you remember how the teams did? I know that I know I'd like to speak on behalf of the Steel, because I got to go down and see that game.
Yeah.
Have kind of a vested interest in that team with, several of my Unity players and just kids like, Evan Sanford's on that team, and obviously our Power Play Sports owner, Paul Tremper's son, Aiden, is on that team. My good buddy, Carter Finney, the Big Rig Ray's on that team. So, it was good to see those guys, and they had a battle. Actually, they made it to the championship game, and they were down, I think, down 4-2, and
right.
they wound up pulling it out. It was pretty cool to see for them.
Yeah, they had me worried in that one too. I was secretly wanting to see the Steel do well again because of how many of those boys I knew from the summer. So to see them come back and pull that out was fantastic.
Who won it at the 16? Was it the Valley team that won it at the 16U? I think Owen Van Brocklin's on that team. I think it was Owen Van Brocklin's Valley 16U team against the team with Jaden Romig and Colin Whitmore for the Cicero Chill. I think that was
for the Chill.
Coach DeLuca's team.
It was DeLuca's team. And I'm trying to see, did they in fact actually win? Was it Valley that won, or?
I think it was, because I remember seeing some highlights on social media, because Sam Van Brocklin had some stuff on, and Jen.
They won. Yeah,
Whitmore.
Valley won 5-1.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that Valley team, they're good. I'll tell you, we got to face them as a Bantam squad. They're 14U here coming up in Q games, and I'm thinking that they look pretty good on paper. Anyways, I haven't seen them play, but
yeah. So I can run you down that 16U team. They got a goal in the first period, just under 8 minutes in, and those were, I think, 12-minute periods, and a power play goal from Gavin Dunford. Second period, they had a goal from William Charlo, assisted by Quentin Weimer. Then they had a follow-up goal by Michael Hard that was assisted by Patrick Sheridan. Started off the third period with a goal from John Donlin. I think. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He played well, though. Michael Hard again got his second goal, and that was assisted by John Donlin. Then the Chill got a goal from Jonathan Henry. Big boy Henry.
Yeah.
And then the Valley scored again with just 2 minutes remaining in the game by Quentin Weimer. But yeah, Sawyer McAloon's on that team. Pat Sheridan, Owen Zanetti.
Yeah.
Yep. Owen Van Brocklin, like you had said. Griffin Filigera. His name is just fun to say.
Yeah.
Michael Giamartino.
You got a couple of Italian kids on that team, it sounds like.
There's a few. It reminds me of my days of growing up in Long Island. Yep.
Do you have the rundown on that 14U Steel game? Do you have the sheet on that? That'd be interesting, because I think we know some of the names there.
Yeah, so let's see. The folders have been ransacked here. 14U AA. Here we go.
How was that broadcast site? Like, where? Because I was looking for you down there, and you said you were kind of tucked away.
Yeah, I was behind everybody. I was in a glass room. It's the boardroom for the Cicero Chill. So they do game film in there, and so through the glass you can see the NHL rink, but you can't go on the other side to the Olympic rink. That's nothing going on there. It's concrete in the way. So, all right, yeah. So for that 14U game, AA, 31 seconds into the game, and St. Lawrence scored by Cooper Grant, assisted by Charles Cameron. About 5.5 minutes later, Valley came back, and they scored by Jonah Vormwald, unassisted. And then another 5 minutes later, with 11:33 into the game, Valley scored again. Jonah Vormwald scored again, assisted by Tyler Bertrand, shorthanded nonetheless. And then 20 seconds later, St. Lawrence Steel came in with the power play goal, still at same penalty. Gavin Sessions, assisted by Ray Peters, the big rig.
The big rig.
Yep. So, which, I mean, kudos to the Steel. You give up a shorthanded goal, turn around 19 seconds later, send one home, still on that power play. So, and that power play, that was all over. Valley's number 88, who was at Connor McDonald, was in for a roughing call too. So, at the end of the first period, it was 2-2. And then Valley came out 17 seconds into the second period. They scored right away. Number 71, Tyler Bertrand scored. And then at 5:22 into the period, William Sanzone scored shorthanded for Valley. And then 18 seconds later, with the power play goal, was Charles Cameron, assisted by Tyler Sovey.
Oh yeah, he's a good player, Sovey.
Yeah. And then that was it. So it was 2-1.
No, it was 4-4, right?
Yeah, it was 4-4 after 2. And then it was all Steel. They got 4 goals in that third period. Goals by Tyler Sovey, Big Rig, Ray Peters, then Tyler Sovey. So he got 3 goals in that third period, Sovey.
Wow. But we've learned that it's not a natural hat trick.
It was not a natural hat trick.
Ray broke it up on him.
That's right. Hey, at least he got broken up by a teammate, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So that's how they came away with it. But yeah, with that first shorthanded goal though by Valley against the Steel in that first period, I was like, what the heck just happened here? Because they looked like they were starting to own the Steel in that one, but they came back and took care of it.
Yeah. How you doing, Cam? You tired, huh? Pretty run down. You've been burning the candle pretty bright. You get your homework done?
Yes, I think so. No, I know not all of it. I don't think not all of it.
All right. Trey wanted me to run through it. 2 trivia questions. One is about the New York Islanders, and one is about the Boston Bruins. So I'm going to throw this one out to you. I think you might actually get this one, Coach. Here you go. You ready?
Yeah.
Which former Islanders player has the most points in history of the New York Islanders?
Most points in the history of the Islanders.
Yes.
I'm gonna go to Mike Bossy.
See, now that's what I would have said. Brian Trottier.
Oh, it was Trottier, huh?
1,353 points as an Islander. I bet you Bossy has the most goals, though. I'd be willing to bet. And then the other question is, which former Boston Bruin had the most points in franchise history? And
Bobby Orr?
No, because his career was cut short, I think. Ray Bourque. Ray Bourque has the most points as a Boston Bruin. Yep, that's a fact, Jack. Yep.
All right.
So towards the end of the show, we're going to highlight Mullet of the Week, and we're also going to talk about Student of the Week in the 92 Challenge, and we'll get to those towards the end of the show. But the Student of the Week in the 92 Challenge is awesome because Power Play Sports has really stepped up on this. The 92 Challenge is really a contest, and we still do need need something for the girls, Coach. Yeah, we're talking about that, right? 92 Challenge commemorates Wayne Ritchie's record of 92 goals in a season. And all you have to do, listeners, and parents and players and fans, is submit grades to us either via email, and I'm going to get this Why don't you do the email, Dan? Because I always get it wrong. What is our email?
Our email address is powerplaypodcastnny@gmail.com. That's powerplaypodcastnny is in Northern New York @gmail.com.
And if you send us a email or a post on Facebook on our Power Play podcast site, a quiz score with a 92 or an A, higher grade, and if you're selected as the 92 Challenge Student of the Week, you can win a Howie's stick wax or 2 rolls of tape or an original, just like I have on right here, Power Play hat. These Power Play hats in orange are classic. My friend Charlie Nutting, I think, has one. He's the only other owner of an orange hat like this. So what else do we have here? We have some news from the pros. Let's start off talking about the New York Islanders. Dan, tell us a little bit about what's going on there, because it's a mess.
The Islanders like starting off from holes, apparently, because we knew this year was going to be challenging because we're waiting for the opening of the UBS Arena in Belmont for the first home game, and it was not going to be ready in time for the beginning of the season. So they started the year off on like a 22-game road trip, which seemed to take forever, and they did horrible at it. Then they were able to come and have opening night at the UBS Arena. They played 3 games there so far, and they have not won yet. Then they had to take a break because they had like 10 players out on quarantine because they had COVID or exposed to COVID or whatever the rule is. I don't know. A handful of them certainly out on COVID protocol, but they're back. They're playing right now. And last I saw, it was 1-1 against the Sharks, and they are in. Actually, where are they? I don't even know. No, I have no idea. I have no idea where they're playing.
It's not over yet.
No. Yeah, I don't even know if they're at UBS or if they're in San Jose. I have no clue.
I would think that, yeah. I would think if it's on now, it's not out west, right? Because their games usually start pretty late.
Right. So they have not lost yet tonight at the UBS.
You want to know an interesting factoid I heard about the UBS Arena is the first player to score a goal at UBS is John Tavares, the former captain of the New York Islanders. He scored it for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And
they booed the living crap out of him when he hit the ice, and then he scored the first goal. I thought, good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. I like Tavares. So
yeah. And other NHL news, a little bit about my team is Brad Marchand got suspended this week after a slew foot on a player from the Vancouver Canucks. 3-game suspension. Kind of thought it was a little bit harsh. I know he's Brad Marchand. I know he's a controversial player. He's also a guy who hasn't been suspended in almost 4 years. He's one of the top 3-point production leaders in the NHL over the past 3 years. And it was a stretched slew foot, but I guess it was a slew foot nonetheless. You can't be flipping guys onto their back coming from behind.
Yeah. So, I mean, he kicked the guy's leg out, but then from in front, though, he threw the guy down on top of it. I think if he didn't push him, if it was just the slew foot and not the push down as the guy was going, it perhaps wouldn't have been the 3 games. But for me, it was that extra shove on the way over that warranted the suspension when I saw that replay.
Did you see a video of it, Cam? Did you happen to see that hit?
I don't think so.
No. Pretty wild.
I was talking to Bailey about it. He's like, Brad Marchand. He goes, that's the guy that likes licking people.
Well, he's right. But he hasn't licked anybody in a couple of years either.
Oh, there's something wrong with that boy. I don't know. Something wrong with Marchand.
Quick from the FPHL, the Federal League, Watertown Wolves. So they're in first place, everyone. And they're 8-2. Last Friday, a 4-2 win over the Columbus River Dragons. And then Saturday, They followed up with a 9-0 win, and I heard it was a little bit of a melee at the end of the game there. I heard, 9-0 win. Nothing's good coming out of that on the backside.
Yeah, it's
Especially late in the third period. It's a lot of goals against.
Lot of testosterone flying around in the wrong direction.
Yeah. So Watertown is 8-2-0. And Justin McDonald's their big shot. A lot of points there. And then who's in second, Cameron? I bet you've played at this arena, actually. Is Danbury Hat Tricks. And that's that arena we played in this summer with Unity in our third tournament, the one where we fell a little bit short in the championship game. You remember that place?
Yeah.
Yeah. Their logo is like a rabbit in a hat, the Danbury Hat Tricks. And then, so Watertown's on top of their league.
Nice. Excellent. Should we talk about some high school?
Yeah, we can hit up some. What do you got for me on the high school track? I got a little high school, but I'm sure you got some good high school stuff too.
So, hold on. Let me change my hat. I'll put on my Obey hat, right?
All right.
So I did in-game host as well as live stream broadcasting for the Ontario Bay versus Liverpool home opener. That was just this past Tuesday. You could always catch that at the Dan Dallin on YouTube. So Obey started the year off in a commanding way, 5-0 shutout victory over Liverpool. Colin Bennett, the goalie for Ontario Bay, got his first career high school shutout. And he played outstanding in that. I mean, amazing glove saves. Yeah, absolutely. Great job, Colin. Glove saves. He was tracking that puck really well. He was in the right position. I think one time there was a shot that he didn't see it, but he was so well positioned that just deflected off of him and went out in a place that nobody can rebound it from. There were only 2 penalties on the whole game. They were also against Ontario Bay. So all in all, it was a really well played game. Clear heads, level heads prevailed on the ice and off the ice, right? There was no nonsense from parents. There was no bickering about, referee calls or anything like that. It was good hockey to watch. It was good hockey to be around. So I enjoyed calling it. I didn't have to mute the mic because of anybody saying grossly inappropriate things around me.
Right.
It was all in all a good time.
Yeah, that's
in that game. Zach Blevins had 2 goals. The night started off with a goal from Casey Wilson from defense, a shorthanded goal. And then we also had goals added by Bryce Goodenough as well as Eric Mashaw.
Wow.
So, some good plays, couple of, double assists in there as well. It was a good fun game to watch, experience, enjoy.
Big fan of that team. A lot of great representation of unity on that team. A lot of great family representation with Bailey Dallin being on that team. Big fan of Colin in the goal. Colin loves to chat. Boy, he's a chatterbox. I spent some time on the bench with him, and I learned the history of the world from how, in between periods. He goes and goes and goes. Like a big fan of Zach Blevins. Big fan of Bryce Goodenough. I'm sure Owen Newton probably had a great game too. He's a hustler out there.
He did. I have him down for 2 assists in that game.
Wow. Great job. And that's a nice way to start off, 5-0 and going into their home tournament this weekend. That's going to be great for them.
Yep. This weekend they've got their Lamont Nicholson home tournament starting off on Friday, 5:00 game against IHC, I believe, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yep. IHC versus Fulton at 5:00. And good segue. IHC. So let's talk a little bit about that because IHC kicked it off this week as well. Same time, in different location, but same time. And IHC was playing Cazenovia. Coach Roberts has the boys up and running, working hard. Big squad. He didn't dress everybody. He only dressed about 18 boys. Going up against a pretty high-powered Caz team. I know Caz played a 1-goal game earlier last week against Christian Brothers Academy, CBA, also a very good team. So we had our work cut out for us. Coach Roberts has me on staff as an assistant. It's a pleasure to be out there with the boys. It was nice to be on the bench with them. Nate Ward scored the IHC's lone goal. They lost in a 5-1 game. Interesting affair, quite honestly. Very interesting affair. IHC actually outshot them. And it was 1-1 after the first period. And IHC had a 5-minute power play and we couldn't get anything done on it. It was amazing, a 5-minute. And then the Cazenovia crew pumped in 3 in about 5.5 minutes. It just was one of those stretches where everything seemed to fall apart and nothing seemed to go right. And that's all they needed, really. They put them up 4-1 from a 1-1 game. IHC outshot them hard in the third period by a few goals. They wound up getting one more. Nice assist though on Nate Ward's goal by Owen Van Brocklen. I know he's been mentioned a couple times. His grandfather is also an assisting and his dad's assisting on the team. So it was a great thing to see Owen and Nate involved. And then there you go. There's a couple kids that we just mentioned when we were talking to Coach DeLuca as well. So and then IHC's up in your home tournament down at Obey tomorrow at 5:00 against Fulton. That's going to be a fun weekend. I can tell you that, it really is.
Yep. So you got IHC and Fulton playing at 5, and then Ontario Bay against Amherst at 7:30 Friday night. The teams that do not win will play on Saturday at 1:00 in the consolation game, and the teams that win will be playing at 3:30 for the championship game for the Lamont Nicholson Memorial Tournament. Lamont Nicholson actually played a huge role in the Salmon River Association as well as the Ontario Bay Association. He passed away a couple of years ago after a battle to an illness, and so we just commemorate him, and we should have representatives from his family. I'll read a little blurb about it, but all 4 of those games, if you're not able to make it to the Haldane Arena in Pulaski, you could certainly catch them at the Dan Dallin on YouTube.
Oh wow! So you're going to be busy this weekend.
I am. Yeah.
You're going to be watching Bailey play. You're probably not going to make it to Cameron's games because you'll be busy broadcasting.
Yeah, I'm missing him this weekend.
And Estelle has some games too, doesn't she? She's at a tournament.
Yep, she's playing in the the Kevin R. Talty Shooting Stars tournament in Ithaca, and they're playing that between 2 rinks, Cas Park and the rink.
Right.
So
cool. Hey, I got a great high school update from Piper Gonis out in the field. Piper's always one to deliver. She's playing right now for the 8 Lady Islanders, which is really a much like the Obey team, much like the IHC boys team, is kind of a mix of different schools. And Piper sends the report of the November 26th game, Lady Islanders versus Oswego. The game was won by Oswego 6-1. Unfortunately, or if you're an Oswego fan, fortunately, Oswego scored 5 goals in the first period and 1 in the second. So she said, the first 10 minutes of the game really determined the outcome because we played them really well. They just had to get their legs under them. They haven't played much together. But a big shout out to Piper, first and foremost, but to Sophia Watts, who scored the only goal for the Lady Islanders. And if you play hockey and you live in Central or Northern New York and you don't know the last name Watts, then you're not paying attention because they're everywhere.
Yes, they are.
They are. They've played everywhere, right? Cameron, you played with Juice.
Yeah.
And then Sophia plays, I think she plays for the Syracuse Nationals and she plays for the Lady Islanders. And now Julian's playing for the Nationals. Andre's playing for the Nationals too, and I think he's destined for Obey because he's a South Jeff kid.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, so he'll be there. And then parents, Jamie's a big hockey guy, hails from Ontario, and Patricia. They're all real involved. They run their kids all over the place for hockey. Boy, oh boy, I wouldn't want to have their gas bill, that's for sure. And then the Lady Islanders are it's probably over now, but the Lady Islanders played tonight against Messina up at the Bay Arena. So that's a tough game. Anytime you're playing Messina in hockey, I don't care if it's boys, girls, youth, high school, whatever.
So let me ask you this. The Lady Islanders, are they playing other girls' high school teams?
That's it. Yeah, it's that girls' high school league. So there's Canton has a girls' team. Messina has a girls' team, Lady Islanders, and Kaz,
Oswego.
Oswego. I don't know if the Berg does, but there's a bunch of different teams, and there's a state championship too. Actually, the Lady Islanders, I believe the Lady Islanders won the state championship in 2016, 17, 18, around there. Yeah.
So I wonder though, like, because our kids go to APW and we have Estelle plays. So I don't know if she would have to play on the boys team for Obey, or if she'd be able to elect to go to a girls high school team for another high school.
I think she can if they have an agreement with the school, because Sophia Watts could technically play for Obey as well, because she goes to South Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
However, she plays for the Lady Islanders girls high school team. So I think, but it's what's interesting is when we played Kaz the other night, IHC, they had a girl on their team, and boy, was she good.
Right.
Well,
in the past, I know Obey had Julia Hollister playing for him.
Goalie, right?
Yeah, and she was lights out goalie.
Yeah.
So I'm sad to say that Julia has decided to follow her love of softball and has abandoned ice hockey for now.
Wow. That happened with me. Tori's playing basketball right now.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to not see her in the net because she was outstanding. I love watching her play. As an 8th grader, I don't know if she was really quite ready to play high school hockey, but I mean, she did. So, and she held her own for sure. But
So I got a couple updates on youth hockey, if I could go through them. I wanted to give a shout out to Coach Hannah Sherrill in the Watertown Mites. They got a real good report sent over to me, and the Mites, the Watertown Wolves Mites, are heading to Lake Placid for a hockey tournament this weekend, and their 6U team, check this out, their 6U team is hosting Lowville 6U, and they're playing at Power Play in the rink at Power Play on Saturday afternoon, which is great use of the facility and great use of our sponsor. That's really cool. And another thing Coach Cheryl wanted to mention is highlighting and spotlighting the student coaching program. And she wanted to discuss the fact that she now has 4 Bantam players who have gone through her junior coaching program, and they're helping coach practice with the Mites on Tuesday. Connor LeDuc, Jose Rivera, Carter Nethers, and Aiden Terry have been helping out a ton. They're on the ice with the Mites. They go out there in their full gear, and they help run practices and explain and demonstrate drills, which as a Mite coach is probably really beneficial because, those guys can skate quite well. And, it's great to have them as demos. And she said that the Mite players love having them, and then they stay after and watch practice. So they watch what the Bantams are doing at practice, and they watch how fast Cameron can skate around the rink. So it's a great thing. And Jose, did you beat Jose in a race today? Did you beat him? I think you might have.
Yeah, I did.
And so she's going to send us a recap of the Mite tournament next week. And I'll talk a little bit about our 14U red team. Our 14U white team was off this past weekend, but our red team had over the haul so far. We had 4 games since the last time we broadcast, believe it or not. So we lost at Clinton 3-2. I think Dan Keegan had one of the 2 goals. I forget who the second goal was scored by. And then the next day we played them in Watertown.
I think it was.
Was it Nate? I think it was Nate.
I think it was either Nate or Nick. I can't remember.
No, I think it was Nate.
I think it might have been. I think it was Nate.
Yeah. And then the next day we played him in Watertown. We beat him 2-1. Do you remember who scored in that 2-1 game, Cameron? Did you have a goal?
No.
No, I don't think you did. Yeah, that was a.
Oh no, that was the 3-2 game. I assisted Daniels.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I threw it at the net and he tipped it in.
Right.
It's a Watertown game.
Yeah, and then last weekend we made a return trip to Auburn. Haven't been there since last year when Carter suffered his spleen injury. Whew, that place brought back some memories. The boys came out a little raggedy. We gave up the first goal, down 1-0. jumped on them a little bit, and they responded 11-2. We had Owen, I think Owen O'Donnell. Matter of fact, I know Owen O'Donnell had a hat trick and a playmaker in the same game. 3 goals and 3 assists. Nick Neto also had 3 goals in that game. Tons of points all over the place. And then we followed it up the next day with a 6-1 win against the Cicero Chill. In my opinion, one of the best games we've played all year from start to finish. Absolute hustle. 6 different goal scorers. That's something about teamwork. When you have 6 different guys and several different players on top of that, earning assists, which I know to you, the Dan Dallin, assists are more important than a goal.
Absolutely. That they are. Yep. Assists make goals.
Absolutely. Definitely. Without them, they don't happen, right? So good follow-up. This weekend, we're heading to Binghamton.
For Auburn, I just want to point out, after that game, we went out for lunch to Costa's Bar and Grill in Auburn.
Okay.
Place was out of this world. The portions were huge. The cost was low. The service was fantastic. The bar was gorgeous. Lots of baseball paraphernalia. I'm a baseball guy. We sat in front of a big wooden Yankee flag. It was beautiful. But the food was great.
Costas, huh?
Yeah. Greek name. Yeah.
Yep. Did you have family? You guys had family with you, right? At that game?
Yep. We did. Had my brother-in-law and his wife and 2 kids came out and met us, watch the game. He's a big hockey nut. Actually, he's a huge sports nut. He was ticket sales and worked his way up to like VP of operations for the Rochester Americans. And then he was over at Salem Stadiums. He was the VP of operations over there. He's played rugby. He's been on rugby all-star teams. His wife was on some sort of international. She played over in freaking England for rugby. Wow. Yeah, they're nuts. They're nuts. He can barely walk now, but an outstanding rugby player.
What'd you think about that game against Cicero Chill? Camera, the 6-1 game. Feel pretty good about that one?
Yeah, I feel really well about that one.
Yeah, we had played them very close the other times we played them. You know, I just felt like we really seemed to have endless energy in that game. I mean, the guys were going the whole game.
Because the last time we played them, really won. What was it, 1-0?
Yeah, and that was your goal. You scored the goal like 20 seconds into the game or 15 seconds into the game. Or
yeah, like it was like 18 seconds into the game and nothing else happened.
Nothing else happened the rest of the game. And I'm like, I knew it was going to be a 1-0 game. Not, but yeah, it was a good showing for sure. Hey, I got a recap on a couple of games from Estelle and Jillian. And Jillian wrote a report for November 20th. The Bucks tied the Buccaneers. That means like I don't know, something about a buck each year or something.
That's right. Joke. $2. It's only $2 a girl.
The Buccaneers tied the Messina River Queens 12U team from Messina, New York. That's very helpful. Thank you, Jillian, for that. 2-2. Goal scored by Claire Furlong, number 72, and Clementine Rastley, number 21. I hear their names on every report. This Claire Furlong and Clementine Rastley girl must be out of this world because they score every single game.
Yep.
And then Sunday, November 21st, the Bucks won 3-2 against the Skinny Atlas Lakers, the 12U. That's a big win. Skinny Atlas is notorious for having good girls teams.
Yeah,
they really are.
That I did not get to see that game, but I heard that game was outstanding.
Wow. And we had Skinny Atlas 12U girls. Goal scored by Karasu, number 1, and Mia Nauman, number 30, and Jillian Keegan, number 86. Seems like she's got the scoring touch from her brother Daniel Keegan, who collects a lot of nice goals right around the net, or tips goals from shots from his teammate Cameron, who he's finally teammates with. Actually, I learned right. You guys are actually finally on the same team together.
Yeah.
The current record for the 12U girls Oswego Buccaneers is 3-2. All right, here we go. What do we got left here? We got I wanted to go highlight a couple of college scores, and then we guess we can wrap it up because it's getting long.
Yep.
And I know Cam's tired. And you got to get your rest, bro, because you have another track meet coming up, don't you?
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
This upcoming Wednesday.
Oh, and you have school tomorrow. What time do you get up for school, by the way? I'm just curious.
Like around 6, but today I got out of bed at 6:40. Missed the bus.
Yep.
Yikes.
I usually have to get up at like 5:30 to 6 o'clock.
That's what Trey gets up. Yeah, 6 o'clock. Well, he's supposed to.
Well, Cameron's supposed to get up at 6, but at 6:20 I go in and I rip the covers off of him. Yep.
I was freezing last night. Like when you ripped that like the cover off, because I only had shorts on. Like I had shorts, a shirt, and a sweatshirt, but I didn't have pants. And I was freezing.
Dude, you were sleeping. Not too many people sleep in their bed with pants on.
No, I do.
Man, that's maybe a little
was
personal.
My
room is free.
my room was freezing.
He means like pajama pants. He always sleeps in shorts. And you know, he doesn't get underneath his comforter either because
No,
he
I
says
just have a random blanket on my bed. That's
we made that bed like 8 years ago and it stayed that way.
No.
He lays on top of the comforter and puts another blanket up on top of him, and that's it.
That's hilarious. All right, quick, we're going to highlight the Saints. And you know what? I actually talked to Chris Wells yesterday while we communicated back and forth via email. Chris Wells is the women's coach up there. I asked him if he could join us on the podcast this evening. Said he'd love to, but they're playing Clarkson. So I think playing Clarkson for them tonight was a little bit more important than being on the podcast. We'll probably have an update on the score from that game.
Only if they won was it more important.
Yeah. Well, I think they were up against some tough odds because Clarkson women are rolling. I think they were like one of the best teams in the country. College Report men's ice hockey. The St. Lawrence Saints dropped 2 contests last weekend to Western Michigan. Boy, they're good. 8-2. I watched that one on Friday night, and then 5-1 again Saturday night in Appleton. They're playing Colgate and Cornell this coming weekend, December 3rd and 4th at 7 o'clock. And they will be collecting donations for non-perishable items and a food drive on Saturday. So all of our really northern New York listeners from the St. Lawrence County region, if you're going to the Saints game to see them play Cornell or Colgate, make sure you bring some food for the food drive because people need help this time of year. So reach out and do what you can. St. Lawrence women's lost to number 2 Ohio State in the tournament down in DC. Score of that game was 5-2 on Friday night. Then they lost to number 6 Minnesota Duluth in overtime. On Saturday, 4-3. St. Lawrence Skating Saints women's team fell to 7-4 on the season, while Minnesota Duluth improved to 7-5-0. They have a game tonight and Saturday against the Golden Knights of Clarkson, who are very highly ranked. On the men's side, the Clarkson men ran their unbeaten streak to 6 games with a 3-0 win over the University of Wisconsin in Madison on Saturday. And they had a 1-1 battle with Wisconsin on Friday night. And the Golden Knights men's team, Go Tech Go, for those Clarkson fans out there who I don't like, and that would be you, Tony Felder. You're the number 1 guy on my hit list as a enemy of the St. Lawrence Saints. The Clarkson men's record, though, is 8-4-3 and probably speaks for itself, much better than mine. And then the Clarkson women took 2 over the weekend. Surprise, surprise. So they're just like, I think they're like 12-3 right now. And I think that wraps up the report for that. Let's talk a little bit about a mullet of the week. And this mullet of the week was submitted to you, Dan.
It was. I had to, I may have had to reach out and ask for it, but absolutely.
Because it's that tremendous.
It is.
And you know what, I'm going to see if I can, let me just see if I can, because we have some people that are still hardcore viewers of the podcast, to include my wife. She likes to watch it on YouTube. Can we get the podcast on we don't have our own YouTube channel for the podcast, do we?
So we could have one by tomorrow if you'd like.
Well, maybe we could just put it on the Dan Dallin to kind of do that. Would that be a good idea or a bad idea?
We could. We could absolutely put it there. I mean, we could put it on Power Play Podcast NNY's own YouTube channel. We've got a Gmail account, so that means we've got a YouTube channel.
Okay, so maybe we should do that. So let me do my little screen share. I think
if you want to stop sharing, I'll share it if you want.
Okay, you share. Yeah, why don't you share it? I'll do a stop share. Hold on a second. Stop share, and you go for it.
All right. Because what I'm gonna do is this. Just do a portion.
Holy cow. Look at this thing.
Mm.
Do you know this guy, Cameron?
Yes.
Do you see this hair frequently? Does he go to school with you?
No,
No.
I see him usually like
So
at the rink every now and then.
this
go.
is none other than Matt the Wall Bice.
The Wall.
The Wall. That's what I call Matt, because you know what? I have seen people line up Matt from across the ice, come skating at him, full charge. They hit him, and then he leans over to pick him up off the ice because he just does not move. Matt's a big boy. Matt's got to be coming in. He's over 6'2", right?
Wow.
Matt, he's always been big. And when I remember when they first moved to Bantams, because he's always played with Bailey, so he's a senior. When they first moved to Bantams, Matt was nervous because he was afraid that he was going to hurt somebody, because he's just always been big. And he never wanted to check anybody because he just was afraid he would hurt him. He's the nicest, sweetest kid. And yeah, loves hockey. He's out there, he's playing hockey, and I guess he saw the opportunity to start growing that mullet, and he fell in love. And that thing is just going into this beast of a mane of a head of hair.
Those sideburns are classic too, Matt Bice. Matt Bice, you're the winner of a Power Play Sports hat, right? Just like this one right here. Right. And we'll make sure that Power Play Sports knows. So next time you have an opportunity to get up to the Power Play location here in Watertown, New York, stop in and grab a hat from them, because you are the winner of the Mullet of the Week. And does that share that you did have our 92 challenge student of the week on it?
It sure does.
Can we scroll up to that? Because I want to talk a little bit about that winner. The 92 challenge winner of the week for week 6 is none other than Cedric Lieberman, who received exactly what a way to start this thing off. Cedric got exactly a 92 on his State of Missouri quiz. Cedric, diehard hockey fan. Hannah and Ginger, thanks for the submission. It was really good to see. There's his 92 right there. Learned a little something from Cedric, in that Jefferson City is actually the capital of Missouri. Something Cameron and I will never forget, because we had a little conversation about that before.
Right.
Jefferson City is the capital of Missouri. So Cedric, you are eligible for a roll of tape, 2 rolls of tape, some stick wax, or one of these classic Power Play Sports hats from Power Play Sports in Watertown, New York. And I know you know where that is, because you pretty much hang out over there. So thank you, Cedric. Keep up the good work in school with a 92 on your State of Missouri quiz. And we'll be choosing another 92 challenge winner next week. We do need some submissions for some mullets. I'm very surprised that we're running out of mullet submissions. So, or even if you have just really cool hockey hair, maybe we could even stretch it into some really cool hockey hair as being because I know the state of Minnesota, actually during the high school state championships in Minnesota, they have a hockey hair competition that is like widely broadcast around the state. And it's just crazy. And of course, Minnesota's the state of hockey, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So where are we? Oh,
so maybe it's the Mao isn't necessarily the mullet of the week. It's the mop of the week, right? It's for that mop of hair.
Mop of hair. That's a great way of putting it. That's, I know you put a calling out there, Dan Dallin, for some girls to come up with an idea. Yeah. And we're still looking for something, ladies, because, most of you have long hair already. So the mullet thing really isn't cool. So you got to come up with something that you think is unique to you. And we'd be more than willing to have a special prize and contest every week for all the ladies out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lady hockey players. So with that said, I'm going to let you wrap it up. Dan, we've come upon just about an hour and a half. Sorry we missed you last week over the Thanksgiving break. We won't miss you next week. We'll make sure we get our recording in and we get it out to you on time, or at least close to on time. We'll do the best. As long as cameras are running track meets and Trey doesn't have stomach aches, we should be good to go.
That's right.
Dan?
Yep. So remember, don't just wait for it to be a good day. Get out there and make it a great day, everyone.
Have a great week. Thanks for joining. Cameron, you look good down there.
All right.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
We'll see you.